what you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Well, they always told you to not question the science, and guess what? The science took the fifth today. Dr. Fauci, in a unhinged rant, blaming Ron Paul for uncensoring this diary, blah, blah, blah. Shady Grove, what a spectacle on the Hill today.
Wow, sir. A spectacle. That's going to be our word of the day, because it is definitely a spectacle. You made an interesting point there. You said that the science took the fifth. I'm like, What the hell are you talking about? Now, the science can't take the spectacle. The science can't take the fifth, because the science is the science. Jeff, remember how they pointed their finger at us? They told us the science was the science. Why would the science ever take the fifth? The science is the science.
Yeah. Don't question it, because you'll make a
spectacle.
And he's got a pardon. I have a feeling he had, 6 or 7 lawyers there. One got thrown out. We'll talk about all this. But it's hilarious that he had to have a lawyer there. Didn't he get a pardon? I mean,
yes.
If you have a pardon, you can say, I killed the guy, and nothing would happen to you. Is that what the assumption should be?
That's what the assumption should be. Well, he killed a few people, didn't he?
Well.
Spectacle.
That's right. It rhymes. What rhymes with?
Spectacle.
Okay. And Dr. Fauci is a
spectacle.
So very interesting time today to be alive. This is what President Trump said. Let's just start here. Many more people died of COVID-19 under the Biden administration than under the Trump administration. Operation Warp Speed was a spectacular success. Now, you're going to have a lot of trolls talk about this as well. In fact, many say one of the most successful things ever done by American president. You know why, guys? Because we'd probably still be locked down today if you guys do not understand why this had to happen. I overrode Fauci on this. His ideas were crazy. Also, I said from the beginning that the virus came from the Wuhan laboratory in China, Shady.
Wuhan!
I know you wanted to say that, right? Fauci strongly disagreed, always trying to protect China. Okay? I inherited Fauci. This is Trump. President Trump goes on to say, I inherited Fauci, who was there since the 1980s, but with each passing day, relied less and less on him. He made too many bad calls, like on masks. Remember, at the beginning, he was an anti-masker. Then he switched to a super masker. In any event, I didn't let him shut the country down. Do you understand that? This is the most important sentence right here.
It is the most important.
Didn't let him shut the country down. Although he wanted to. I went the Federalist way and let the governors decide. The Republican governors did much better job than the Democrats. Fauci was largely taken out of play. And along came sleepy Joe Biden, who made Fauci a king. I called Biden to tell him Fauci was no good. either didn't have a clue or was dishonest. The call was well received, but sadly not acted on. Biden went on to give Fauci a vast destructive power. Okay, the rest is history. President Donald J. Trump. Wow.
Nice statement, number one. Number two, you're exactly correct. They are going to they have a meltdown over the Operation Warp Speed. It's very interesting, Jeff, because time gives us a clarity. And so look at the people and the way that they act about Operation Warp Speed. And it seems to me, maybe I'm wrong, but it looks to me like it's the same people that are acting like this over Epstein, Israel, and the Iran war that's going on right now. It's the same people. It's the Flynn network. It's the network. It's the whole group of defeat disinfo. It's all of the people out there that are trying to dissuade, distract, and deter you. No matter what is done, they will jump to say that they're outraged by the idea that it was done. The thing that is interesting is if the exact opposite thing were done to begin with, these people would have run out and say the opposite thing should have been done, saying the thing should have been done that they're currently arguing with right now about the vaccine. This is an unbelievable ability that they have to literally say the opposite of whatever it is that the person they're trying to railroad is saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's check this out, Shady Grove. Oh, my goodness.
It's crazy.
Against the law to obstruct an investigation of Congress, there will be repercussions to your refusal to testify today. Senator Peters. You're not recognized. You're not recognized. If you are unruly, you will be removed from the proceeding. You are not recognized, and you are not recognized, sir. Sir, you are not recognized.
That's Fauci's
you are
attorney.
Not recognized. Security. We'll hold off. But you will respect these proceedings. You were told not to sit at the table. You insist on sitting at the table, and we told you would not be recognized. You are not invited here for testimony, sir. You are being disruptive. Would you behave this way in a courtroom? No, because the judge would put you in jail. I can't do that today, but I can have you escorted from the premises. So I would say, sir, sit quietly and don't say another word. I said, sit quietly. You are not recognized. Another word and you're gone.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to
And
hear,
by the way, did you see Laura Ingraham
attorney
right
has
behind
to
him?
say.
Yeah.
He is not recognized by the committee or the chair. If he speaks again, he will be removed from the room. This testimony is from Anthony Fauci. This is not a game with his lawyers. He can advise. His lawyers can give him advice. He's got a half dozen here. They're all allowed to talk to him.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
But the attorneys are not recognized. In fact, the attorney was told not to sit at the table, and he's not obeying that recommendation. There's a row behind you, sir. That's where you were told to sit, and you're not. And now you're disrupting the proceedings.
Take his
And
chair.
so, look, this is the way Anthony Fauci wants to be remembered. For a lawyer not listening to the rules. That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not recognized, sir.
You're talking.
Security, please remove him from the room.
Yeah.
This is our room.
I just dear.
Doing your client a real service there.
Let the record state that Dr. Fauci will still have the advice of the other half a dozen attorneys that he brought along today.
Wow, pretty amazing. Wow. I mean, you know, disregard of the rules, Shady Grove.
Well,
Just like Dr. Fauci's, what was that? His diary. He went to go have dinner with Cuomo, have dinner with him with no These people don't rules for thee, not for me. Shady.
I think it was Tapper, but yes, went to
Tapper
came to him. He went to Tapper, and right there, listen. In the okay, a couple different things. The diary, by the way, people are curious about the diary. The RFK Jr. was on there the other night saying that the reason that they have the diary is because the diary was typed into and stored on public servers. 11 of them. He said they dug in. It took the 11 different servers that they went through to find this stuff. So number one, your diary, if you want to keep a diary, which is funny anyway, you might want to write it down and keep it by your bed. It might not be something you should be typing into the internet while you're still at the office and leaving it on government servers of which you are a representative. You don't own the NIH. We do. We paid your salary. The people do. So everything that you typed, printed, did, said, whatever is responsible and answerable to us. And it's very interesting that we're seeing all this stuff now after Joe Biden gave this guy a pardon. I mean, I think the American people have been a little bit less receptive of that pardon had they known how Anthony Fauci actually looked at us as human beings in America and thought much less of us than he acted like in public.
Here's a video that Donald Trump pointed to about Dr. Fauci being against the mask. I posted this in 2020, Shady. Look at this. Wow.
Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often, there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course. But when you think masks, you should think of healthcare providers needing them and people who are ill. Right now.
I mean, I can see like China going, oh no, wait a minute. Oh, we want a mask, a contract. We need mask, double mask, quadruple mask, mask, sell more mask. Shitty.
Isn't it interesting too? Because weren't they working towards taking away our election at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so they wanted to sell us masks to shut us up, and Dr. Fauci mismessaged there, and actually he screwed up, Jeff, because you know what he did right there? He revealed some science. That's the science. The science says that mask doesn't help. The science says, if you want to hear the science, this is what the science says about a mask. COVID-19 is to mask as marble is to volleyball net.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
That's the comparison. There's no questioning it. A virus goes right through a mask. A mask does not stop a virus. The only thing a mask will stop is like actual debris, things that are physical. Bacteria, not a virus. Bacteria is like 100 times bigger than a virus. So that was the science. And then, like Jeff said, China got a hold of him, and all of a sudden it became a whole different story.
Yeah. I want to real quick just pause for a second because we have a new PSYOP. Michael Flynn's parents, they're saying that he's Joseph Patrick Kennedy is General Michael Flynn's father, but Michael Flynn's parents were Charles and Helen Flynn, not Marilyn Monroe, who had no children and died in 1962. Stop with the PSYOPs. This is the kind of crap that we get. And I know why now that this PSYOP was done, Shady. Because with the D-class that happened yesterday, guess who is on the hook, Shady Groove? Guess who was totally debunked by the D-class, Shady?
Who?
General Michael Flynn.
No.
And Roger Stone and the whole digital soldier network. General Flynn's Venezuela election theory was wrong. Trump released the proof. President Trump has declassified additional intelligence on foreign threats and vulnerabilities to the U.S. election infrastructure from the 2020 cycle. The core document is in the National Intelligence Council memo NICM 2020-003 from January 2015. First, the 2006 Intelligence Committee assessment concluded that neither Smartmatic nor Venezuelan government had the capability, that is the level of control access required to manipulate the outcome of an election outside Venezuela in a predictable fashion. Okay. This is the D class. Okay. Look at that. So they knew that something was coming. And really quick, I just want the finding directly contradicts the core claim pushed by Lieutenant General Michael Flynn that Venezuela flipped on the 2020 election through the Smartmatic Dominion system running a Chavez-like algorithm on the specific theory. The intelligence Trump declassified shows Flynn was wrong. And General Flynn is included in this video with all the other people that pushed the same damn thing. Wow, Shady. Busted.
Severely busted. You know, whenever you're being run over by communists, what they do is they just utilize whatever is around them and they see what can stick to the wall. They're not really utilizing any facts and they're not really telling you the truth about anything. They're trying to find things to tell you that you want to hear, things that will be soft to your ears, things that you can take in and then you can personalize, and then you will go out in public and defend because you've already personalized it and you didn't see an ounce of evidence. That's what these people were doing. And it's interesting too that this sort of like this gives a little bit of a lot of credibility actually to Tulsi Gabbard, considering the little idiots that are out there attacking her and trying to like say that she's part of the Flynn network. Well, that's not exactly how it's playing out, is it?
That's right. So we've got General Flynn incorrect. Tulsi Gabbard is the one that released this file. Okay, July 3rd, I think it was. DNI Pulte released it all under Trump's order. And it proves that General Flynn is wrong. I mean, do we understand that, guys?
But whenever you say it proves that he's wrong, I think it proves that he was making that up. It proves it's not that he was like, it's not, I don't think he was getting it confused. I think that he was just, yes, you see what I'm saying though. He is wrong, but in all reality, he's doing it on purpose.
Well, of course.
Yes.
Of course. But you know, he's wrong. He's wrong. The
Yes.
PSYOP is wrong. He's wrong. The whole effing network is wrong. And we were right. How's that?
So much better.
Okay.
See how I ring him out, guys?
No, FKE, those long threads on True Social, the True Social sucks.
God, that's so bad. I mean, it's very hard to navigate that website, guys. It is very difficult. You would really think that they could get a handle on that.
Yeah, I plead the first.
I'm first to plead.
Oh, lordy. Okay, so I got another one here because we've got a shortened show today, Shady. I've got to take my mom into, we got a scan of her neck, and she's got nerve pain going all the way down her arm. So I'm going to go, got an orthopedic appointment today at 1:15 Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to leave here a little early today. But I wanted to get through some of this Fauci stuff because the biggest thing is this, because Rand Paul did rip Fauci apart for lying under oath about deleting records. Fauci, under oath, said, quote, "I never deleted official records." Also,
already
Fauci,
said it.
Go ahead.
He's already testified to that. Yes.
Yeah,
not today, but yes.
Got the video proof of it's coming.
Yep.
Also, Fauci, please delete this email. Okay. His own assistant confirmed records were deleted at his request. That, my friends, is a crime. Okay. Check it out.
Okay. Dr. Fauci, did you ever delete an official record?
No.
Dr. Fauci, did you ever conduct official business via email?
To the best of my recollection and knowledge, I have never conducted official business via my private email.
Your conduct concerning federal records raises further questions. It is a crime to destroy federal records. Yet our investigation reveals your assistant diligently reported that she deleted tons of emails. In 2024, you testified that you did not delete federal records. Who's telling the truth? You or your assistant? The committee has obtained repeated instructions from you telling federal officials to delete
communications, guys.
Okay.
Okay, we've got it right here. Let's just pause this real quick. I don't want to engage anymore with this nonsense. Okay, this is official. He changed it to private email, but it's official email. He directed people, and so please delete this email after you read it. Thanks, ASF. Okay, it's Anthony Fauci, Shady. He lied.
Yes, he did.
Under oath.
Yes, he did. And a lot of people have been harmed by the decisions that this human being made. It hopefully taught this country a lesson for the future, but there is now half a generation of young people that lost something that they can never get back, all because this guy said so. Had nothing to do with science, had nothing to do with the threat, had nothing to do with anything, much less putting masks on children and 2-year-olds for 2 years, and all the nonsense that we did all came from his head. And you can see it in these diary postings, exactly how maniacal. You know, you see the movies of the Dr. Evil that wants to rule the world. You kind of don't think those people are out there until you see Anthony Fauci.
Yeah.
and read his dumb diary posting where he's, really quite enamored with himself.
Yeah. I want to real quick just play this. This man this is a flashback from June of 2021. He's a Marine veteran, Nate Ward. He stood on his porch, Shady, in D.C., and completely shuts down Fauci and Mayor Bowser.
This is the one where they were out trying to sell the vaccine, right?
Yep.
People in America are not settled with the information that's been given to us right now. So I'm not going to be lining up taking a shot on a vaccination for something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot in miraculous time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About 20 years of science to get us to be able to do it.
20 years is not enough. And 9 months is definitely not enough for nobody to be taking no vaccination that you all came up with.
The only reason I'm talking to you right now, as close as we are, is that I've been vaccinated.
Right.
But if it allows thousands of people like you don't get vaccinated, you're going to let this virus continue to percolate in this country and in this world.
Something like the common flu.
Look at the way she's pointing at it.
It's much more serious than the flu.
Well, the flu kills a lot of people annually, too.
You know how many people died of the flu the last year? I mean, not this year, virtually none, but the previous year.
Listen to that.
He already knows.
He already knows.
Yes, sir.
Do you know how many people died of the flu last year, not this year? Virtually none this year, guys.
That was before any statistics. This is right at the beginning of the vaccine. This is in the summer of 2020. There's no statistic that backs up what he's saying, that there's no flu actually happening. That didn't happen until later in the year. And everybody's like, where the hell did the flu go?
Yeah.
He already knew. The flu was being subverted. The flu was being taken over and brought into COVID and being massaged to look like COVID deaths and being massaged to look like COVID cases. That's why everybody that died in a motorcycle accident actually died of COVID.
He stubbed his big toe. COVID.
Yep, COVID. Glass fell out the top of the building. COVID.
You know how many people have died from COVID-19 in the United States? 600,000 Americans.
The number that you all giving that died, that's once again, that's you all's number.
You gonna pass?
Yeah, definitely. Because when you start talking about paying people to get vaccinated, when you start talking about incentivizing things to get people vaccinated, it's something else going on with that. It's something else going on.
It is something going on.
It's something else.
You're right. But I'm glad millions of people, like
so
me
smart.
and almost everybody here, didn't get an incentive. You know what their incentive was? Protecting their health and protecting the city. But I won't keep you anymore.
It's okay, because my incentive, y'all campaign is about fear. It's about inciting fear in people. You all attack people with fear.
Watch them run away.
This pandemic is. It's a fear. It's fear, this pandemic. That's all it is.
Thank you, sir. Man, that's so good. This is so good. This right here creates this absolute perfect dynamic. Exactly what we're talking about here on the show, and exactly what even I was speaking about last night. The way they look down at you. You say cameraman, PBS, camera crew, all the guys, Mayor Bowser, Dr. Fauci, 10 people standing there, one guy on his porch. You know who the smartest man in the room is? The man standing on the porch talking to the people that are looking down their nose at him and acting like he's some sort of pathetic little, hood rat or something. You can see it in their eyes. That's exactly what they think of him. And he's telling them the dead level truth, the honest truth, and they can't take it. And this is exactly what's going on in the world today. As Donald Trump says, the dead level truth to this establishment, they can't take it. And they start walking away from us. Why don't they argue with us? Why do they start talking about our start calling us homosexuals or talking about our appearance whenever we're trying to argue with them about policy? That's why, because they know currently they're locked out of a conversation and they're the dumb person in it.
We have one that can see. Everybody run!
I can't believe PBS aired that, actually. That's a miracle PBS put that on air.
Yeah. I mean, they had to. I mean, it was a fear camp. The guy was right. The guy nailed it, man.
So right.
All right,
Pinned them all down.
Let's listen to Bernie Moreno, guys. This is hilarious. Shady, you're going to love this.
Okay, here we go.
Do you know who David Schertler is?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. What does the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution say?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
No, I'm just asking you what it says.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
I'm going to give the Constitution to my aide. He'll bring it over to you so you can have it for future reference. I think it's something that every American should know what the Constitution says. Do you know who wrote the Fifth Amendment?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
So you're invoking a right that you don't know who wrote it or what it says. Is that correct?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I'd say.
entertaining.
That's a wow.
Nice job, dude.
Yeah.
Good work.
And then let's get Josh Hawley in here at Shady Grove. This one's pretty good too. Holy moly.
Chairman, well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc? Let's try something. What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color's the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyers sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs. They know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the.
So allegedly, we have LJE Mag says he's pled the fifth 101 times. Couldn't even tell you what the color of the carpet was, Shady. What color tie is that? On advice of my counsel.
I was hoping that someone would bring that up, though. I was hoping that someone would bring that up, that because he has a pardon, he no longer has Fifth Amendment protections. We said the same thing about Flynn. Remember that? Remember whenever they called Flynn in for the J6 hearings and stuff, and he was pleading the fifth, but the reality was he'd already had a pardon. So it's interesting the way that these people are, they're utilizing the law when it benefits them and subverting the law whenever it's convenient.
That's right. So this is the Fifth Amendment does not protect you from self-incrimination if you cannot incriminate yourself. Doesn't Fauci's pardon mean that he can be compelled to testify? The United States can compel testimony from an unwilling witness who invokes the Fifth Amendment privilege against compulsory self-incrimination by conferring immunity, as provided by 18 U.S.C. Section 6002, from use of the compelled testimony and evidence derived therefrom in subsequent criminal proceedings, such as immunity from use and derivative use is coextensive with the scope of the privilege and is sufficient to compel testimony over a claim of the privilege, like the Fifth Amendment. Transactional immunity would afford broader protection than the Fifth Amendment privilege and is not constitutionally required in subsequent criminal prosecution. The prosecution has the burden of proving affirmatively that the evidence proposed to be used is derived from a legitimate source, wholly independent on the compelled testimony.
Fascinating.
So everybody's saying that this is a waste of time. I don't think it is. Okay. I think President Trump's like, yeah, let him take the fifth all he wants. And I think the lawyers know that something's going to happen. Okay. That's why he took the fifth, because he's not going to have those pardon privileges because it was done by an auto pen. So I think this is a way, you know, I think Catherine Heritage, or whatever her name is, I think she's saying stuff like, well, maybe we can just bring a criminal suit and then question the validity of the pardon. And that could very well be. But there's something is about to drop here, in my opinion. I feel it in my bones, Shady. It's just a theory, but I think something's going to happen.
I agree with you on that. And I think that maybe part of what could possibly be happening is that people around Dr. Fauci have been, have started talking. And so what happens is, like, you know, the people that he was instructing to do things that they shouldn't be doing, they don't want to get in trouble. And they see what's happening with Dr. Fauci right now. And they, you know, if Dr. Fauci's email, if Dr. Fauci's diary is making it to the public conversation, all the people that were helping him behind the scenes do whatever it was he was telling them to do, which I don't know that anybody did necessarily, but it sure does sound like some people did, considering some of the things that we heard there today. Therefore, those people can point at him. Those people can testify against him. Those people can initiate other types of things to be charged, Dr. Fauci to be charged with, that aren't necessarily relevant to that dumb pardon.
Yeah. Somebody's saying the first arrest. We've seen a lot of arrests. Hey, lady, just so you know, Trump was arrested. That shocked the world, I think. We've got Epstein was arrested before, you know, and Donald Trump's Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested. Very interesting. So we don't know which one that is. I thought it was Trump, but let's go to this, Shady Girl, because I'm going to want to point you to this site. The White House posted at 10:05 a.m. The truth, COVID.gov. Okay. This is all the stuff. Lab leak. The MG show was censored because we reported on the true origins of COVID-19, Shady.
Yes, we did. And we're going to actually be playing some of the old stuff about where it came from here in a little bit.
Well, yeah. So let's discuss that, because I got to go here in about 10 minutes or so.
I understand.
The virus possesses a biological characteristic that's not found in nature, period. Data shows that COVID-19 stems from a single introduction into this. We even know where it came in Washington. Remember, Shady Groove? At Evergreen Nursing
Homes.
Yeah.
Can't forget that, can we? And we also know that the very first date of the very first case was the very day that impeachment articles were delivered from the House to the Senate.
Yeah.
That day, because the operation was not about a virus, sir. It was about something else. I can't remember what it was. It seems like it started with an E. What was it about? Wasn't the virus? It was, the election.
Oh, the election. Was it about the virus or the election? Yeah. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm sure it was the virus.
It's got to be, the concern for us was just so overwhelming. We're going to have to take that seriously. We don't want to look at that as like some sort of nefarious virtue signal to cause people to panic and to fear and to run out and do things that were outside of their best interest.
Two True Seeker 17 is now a monthly supporter. Thank you so much. We got M-Tud in here saying I'm the only one in my family that did not get the shot. I got COVID from my daughter's ex. I was sick for 3 weeks. My doctor was sending me to the hospital. I refused. Thank God I recovered.
Oh my goodness. You made good decisions.
Yeah, you did.
You made good decisions.
So real quick, in other news, President Trump reacted to the strikes, the surprise Iranian strike on U.S. forces in Jordan. Did you hear what he said?
Yes, I did.
Let's just play. Let's have Trey Yinks to say it.
Good morning. President Trump reacting to that Iranian attack on U.S. forces night in Jordan. President Trump tells Fox News about Iran, we are going to beat the effing S out of them. He went on to say, we'll be hitting them hard. They're going to get a beating. So clearly the United States is going to respond to what the president described as a surprise attack. He says U.S. forces had just minutes to shoot down these incoming Iranian ballistic missiles. The president says he has reviewed video of the shoot down, and it was U.S. forces conducting this operation. As good morning, President Trump.
Yeah. And everybody's like, well, I just take them out. No, you can't. You got to go through the process. You got to get buy-in from America, which is exactly what President Trump is doing. Just like with Fauci, you've got to go through the process. I know it's frustrating, but now America is fighting back, okay? An uncensored America, allegedly. We need to react and say, come on, Fauci, right? We know what happened, and things happen. It's shady. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're putting this out into the ether so we can fix it.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
Do you aim to have a just world? Would you like to live in a just world? Yes? Justice. To live in a just world, there's consequences for that, and you have to make very hard decisions, correct? If you want to have a just world, you can't just go along to get along. You got to call out the things that are wrong. You got to hold people that do things wrong accountable, and there has to be consequences for their actions. Otherwise, you do not have a, quote, just society, do you? Well, okay, so there seems to be this arbitrary red line that's been painted saying, about boots on the ground in Iran. After watching the infomercial that we watched the other day that Donald Trump put out for you to watch, I'm just going to prepare this audience with the reality that boots on the ground in Iran is a very real possibility. And I just want you to understand that. I don't think that it's going to be something like you saw in Iraq. Right. It's going to be something like where we land in the areas of political control and we take over those areas of political control. And there's not a damn thing that these people that are there can do about it. Yes, we are going to lose men if we do that, but we're not going to lose men for the wrong reason. The reason that we're there is for a just cause. The just cause is we're tired of the people, clowns, whatever they are, in Iran causing havoc to the world and making everybody afraid whenever they're not really something to be afraid of. Therefore, there's a high likelihood that you are going to have boots on the ground in a theater of war that moves forward. But the thing is, you have a competent leader and a competent administration that is doing it. That's the difference. This is not like Iraq. This is not like Afghanistan, no matter how much they try to paint it like that. And I'm not saying we are going to have boots on the ground. I'm just saying that there's a high likelihood that that's where this goes because of the way that they're acting over there. They're utilizing the media and Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson as a political optic campaign to act like that Iran is winning and beating America. And you got all these people on social media saying it. So at some point, it may have to be proven that they're all completely wrong.
Yeah. Pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I think it's going to happen. I think, we just have to be patient. We have to, I know we're tortured because we knew this, 6 years ago, Shady Groove? I mean, Q posted about COVID over and over.
I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Okay?
Oh, and that too. Well, I'm talking about, okay, yeah. I'm talking about
but I understand what you're saying. There's a correlation. It is a correlation because both things are ending in the same spot. These things are diametrically connected because they're running on two fronts of the same war, all against us. We have to stand our ground, and standing our ground doesn't mean that we cower whenever Iran acts like, that they're beating us. No, we're going to go in and we're going to obliterate these people. And I'm sorry to say that we gave them the opportunity to choose wisely. Once you've chosen wrong, then just society has to come into play. You have to say, okay, if your mother made the threat and then you did it anyway, do you get away with it?
Yeah.
I say no.
Yeah. This is something interesting that just popped up, Shady Groove. Check this out.
Bill Gates was given Q security clearance from 2014 to 2021 without objection. That will be entered into the record. I'd also asked,
Did you hear that, Shady?
Did.
Bill Gates was given Q clearance by Obama, Shady.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird, huh?
Mm-hmm. Probably the reason that Q posted some of the pictures that he posted of Bill Gates' father, and the reason that Obama would have done something like that, and an outlet so that Microsoft could start selling out all of our technology to China.
Wow.
No? Because that sure as hell is what happened.
Listen to what Fetterman said, Shady. You're going to love this. And he wore a suit today. Check it out.
And that it's not about much more your regrets, but I have.
Oh, wow. He looks good.
And that is early on that there was the theory that the virus could have emerged from the lab. And early on that became like a right-wing kinds of theory. And I thought it seemed to make sense. Now, there was a really advanced lab that was close by, and then you have this unknown virus out. So, but that became a very partisan thing, and now it seems now it's more and more emerging theory that would have come from the lab. Now, I think that the next time our nation's facing something like this, we are not become, as I might have been, blinded by the partisan idea
we were censored, and he's admitting that he believed in the original narrative that Fauci put out and that Fauci was wrong.
Yeah, that's a Democrat.
Yeah,
and that's a Democrat.
Yeah,
that actually started to look more like a Republican.
Yeah, imagine that.
It's like, because whenever you put that suit and your tie on, it means you respect the office of which you were elected to.
Yeah.
Which he's been disrespecting up until very recently. That's the first time I've ever seen him dressed for the position that he holds. Take whatever away for whatever. I mean, it's like you can do whatever you want to do, but it's a disrespecting.
I got one more.
All right.
Myself, I cannot stand idly on the side and watch this happen. It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the fuck do you think you were for doing that?
Wow.
It is a total disgrace what you did to this country. And if my Democrat colleagues are standing there defending you, I hope the voters of the United States of America watch the clips of every one of you doting on a guy who was more interested in being a celebrity than saving American people. I will make it my mission to make certain that every single one of those Democrats who did that will see that clip over and over and over again. Because there is no defense of what you did. You may have had a 50-plus year legacy of public service, but it ends in total and complete disgrace. So let me ask you an opportunity to answer one question. Will you apologize, just apologize, to the people who you harmed through your actions? Will you say, do you have the dignity to just say you're sorry?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
So you won't apologize to the military members who Joe Biden summarily dismissed from the military for not taking the vaccine?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Will you apologize to the business owners that lost their business, shattered their lives, and they'll never recover?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Will you apologize to the moms who had to force their infant children, 2, 3, 4-year-olds, to put masks on, and what that did and how that traumatized those kids?
Under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Will you apologize to the family members of the people who died because they took your advice and not only got the first vaccine, but the 5, 6 other boosters that they did not need?
To answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Will you apologize to that mom from Ohio for being arrested for watching a football game with her family?
Amendment to the Constitution.
I think that says a lot.
It's a good way to end the show on that note for today. But Shady, I want to play this real quick because this is basically what So we need to put Fauci's head on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a bat?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to be a bat.
All right. Well, the people need to hear it.
What?
They need to hear it.
I don't want to be a bat.
Thank you.
Answer the question.
right,
got it. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
So I'm gonna have to leave you guys, Shady. I'm gonna leave it in your hands. We did this 6 years ago. It is relevant
now
because it's look here, Russia, not there, China. But look at what Shady and I dug up 6 years ago. You're not gonna want to miss it. It's a revisitation because it's Shark Week. It's Shark Week on Discovery Channel, and that's when we did China Week on the YouTube channel, Shady Grove. It should be a good little reminder for everyone because it's still relevant.
Now.
All right.
Yes.
Guys.
So we're going to jump. We're going to actually go into, I think we have about an hour, a little over an hour, about an hour and 10 minutes or something for this episode to replay. 2020, we did this, and really interesting. I know that there's a number of people now that are with us that very possibly didn't see this. If you guys are out there in the chat and you have seen this, maybe share some of the information back and forth with some of the people. But thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for supporting us. What you're seeing right now is a very clear distinction that's being drawn in the sand, and you're realizing that it's not just about being a conspiracy theory. It's about finding the truth. What is the truth? You have to wade through the conspiracy to get to the truth. But once you're at the truth, you're no longer in the world of conspiracy. You're at the truth. And so you have to recognize that these people that are in the world of conspiracy are generating massive amounts of income by being in a world of conspiracy. And the people that are few and far between that are actually trying to figure out the truth are the ones that the conspiracy theories are calling lunatics with the big microphones, just like the mainstream media is doing to you in public, or in the regular surface conversation. This is very disappointing to see this, what you're seeing today, but it's good for Democrats to see it. You're not getting a lot out of watching Dr. Fauci take the fifth, but your Democrat friends, and I guarantee you, most of you that have any will see that this is true. They believe in this guy. They believe in this guy like he is a literal saint or whatever it is that they think he is. They honest to God think he is like the second coming. Now they're seeing him sit there and take the Fifth Amendment. That's causing questions in their mind because if they feel like personally, if they were on the stand, they would stand up and say that I did what I did because it was the right thing to do. They don't understand why Dr. Fauci is not doing that. Not all of them, the smart ones. And once the smart ones start to see from the Democrat side, I think that we're on on the fast track to where we're unity in America comes whenever we all decide that we agree on some commonalities within each topic. And what they've done is they've tried to splinter us apart from one another to make us think that we don't agree with any other of us on any topic. And that's just not true. So we're going to jump into that. We're going to replay this. I'm going to head out of here. And so you'll see the replay from China Week, I think 6 years ago that we dug all this stuff up regarding Bill Clinton and the connections to why the Monica Lewinsky scandal actually happened. And during this time, this is when they were selling you out. This was the beginning of selling you out. So all the stuff about Monica Lewinsky bleeding over into George Bush, bleeding over into Obama, the whole time, that whole time they were selling us out to China, and it didn't start to stop until Donald Trump took office in 2016 and we stood up and elected him. So, and also, by the way, thank you guys so much for joining me last night. If you didn't check out Q Lounge Live, part 3 was aired last night. The unbelievable compilation that I've been spinning around in my head for a long time now finally got put to video. So please feel free to send me a message or let me know if you have any questions. I'm right here. Much love to each and every one of you. God bless you. And we're going to jump into China Week, and we'll be back here live tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Time. God bless you, and God bless America.
It is August 10th. It is the 233rd day of the year. What is that backwards? And bring in my partner of justice for the answer. Shady Groove, what's 233 day of the year backwards?
That would be 322, my friend, at 1300 hours, coming to you from the Matrix Groove Show. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming around. This war is hot, and we are hot on their trail, Matrix. You know what I know. You guys, where are we looking? Are we looking at Russia?
Nope.
Are we looking at Iran?
Nope. Well, kind of.
Well, what's right next door?
China, guys. It's always been China. Let me just play this real quick while we wait for some people to come in. You're going to love this. It's always been China, and we're going to go through that today. Check this out. probably one of the most important broadcasts, folks. Invite people. Share it. Like it. Wow. Thank you for our video dude for that awesome video. Li. Did you see that at the end, Shady? L-I. Li.
Lee.
Now,
That is
guys.
correct. What is Lee, my friend?
We're going to find
let
out
the good
today.
patrons out there understand what that one means. Do you guys understand what the name Lee comes from? Where is that?
We're going to find out today, Shady. But let's do a little, let's just set this up a little bit, okay?
Let's do.
You know, you've been kind of looking at the thread and aiding in some of the research. I'll tell you, though, I've been digging nonstop on this, and I don't know if it's something that we have been programmed. You know, even the most red-pilled people, there's really nobody, you know, we've talked about China here and there, but not how we're going to talk about China today.
That's right.
We have blown this wide open, Shady. And
yeah, man, it goes back. A lot of people want to think China in the modern era. You have to understand the setup going all the way back to Nixon and the
Even further back.
of the opening of China. But the big push, guys, was
Rockefeller,
where?
Shady.
That's right.
Even further back. Did you know there's a Yale in China? I mean, guys, wait till you see what we found out. So here, check it out, Shady. This is the Bill Clinton scandal. Remember the famous blue dress?
I do.
Well, it was really a cover-up for something else. Let's check it out.
Let's see.
In 1998, America's attention was focused on scandal in the Oval Office. Public concern over this new round of suspected Clinton wrongdoings finally pushed Congress to act.
Sex with President Clinton.
However, news coverage implied that purely mean-spirited partisanship motivated the proceedings.
The great story here is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president.
Suddenly, for the first time since Richard Nixon, a United States president faced the strong possibility of impeachment. Yet only a handful of viewers would learn the actual reasons why. Months before the Lewinsky scandal broke, Congress began investigating a scandal that had become known as ChinaGate. Evidence suggested that the Clinton administration had compromised U.S. security in order to finance its re-election campaign. The Communist government of China was eager to acquire sensitive U.S. military technology and economic concessions. Through international money laundering, China funneled contributions into U.S. election campaigns and obtained privileged access to top U.S. officials. The communist money trail led all the way up to the Oval Office. If these facts were widely publicized, Clinton would face impeachment on grounds of bribery and perhaps even treason.
It was wrong.
But the media misdirected public attention. Americans were told over and over again in 1,000 different ways that the only real complaints against Clinton were that he lied about sex. Yet more than a dozen of Clinton's appointees, business associates, and close friends were convicted of felonies since he assumed office in 1993. Many others implicated in the ChinaGate scandal invoked the Fifth Amendment or fled the country altogether.
Hey, Shady, you guys thought it was about the dress, Shady. It was really because of Red China. You guys are so stupid.
That's what it was?
You know, and is this mocking you?
This is mocking you.
You thought it was the red dress, but look at my shoes, Red China. Huh. The truth has been there all along, Shady. Let's take a look at Hillary Clinton blaming a Bush.
Hillary Clinton crisscrosses Indiana ahead of next Tuesday's primary. One economic story about lost jobs and foreign competition has become a staple of her campaign stops, but it turns out to be a story with some holes in it. Our senior political correspondent, Jake Tapper, has been looking at that story. Jake?
Good evening, Charlie. Well, in Indiana, Senator Clinton decries how the company MagnaQuench moved from Indiana to China in 2003. MagnaQuench makes high-tech magnets with defense applications, including in smart bombs, and now China has a monopoly on the technology. But there's one key part of the story Senator Clinton tends to leave out: her husband's role.
This rusty abandoned factory in the heart of Valparaiso, Indiana, housed magnet maker MagnaQuench until it moved to China, costing more than 200 jobs. It's a story Senator Hillary Clinton tells a lot as she campaigns throughout the Hoosier state.
A Chinese company bought MagnaQuench, and then they decided that they were going to move the whole company from Indiana to China.
Over and over again, Clinton blames President Bush for dropping the ball on a national security issue, including in a new TV ad.
George Bush could have stopped it, but he didn't.
What Clinton does not say is that her husband could have stopped it because the Chinese bought MagnaQuench in 1995 when he was president. And his administration approved the deal despite national security concerns raised partly because the Chinese companies were run by sons-in-law of then Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping.
If we believe this was truly a national defense issue, it should not, the company should not have been allowed to be sold in 1995.
One of Senator Clinton's main arguments, the Chinese now know our secrets.
Not only did the jobs go to China, but so did the intellectual property and the technological know-how to make those magnets.
Former MagnaQuench Vice President Andrew Elber says that's false. By the 2003 move, he says, the Chinese already knew everything.
There was nothing new that we were doing that the Chinese didn't already have and know about.
This month, Clinton held an event in Valparaiso.
We've got to elect a president next January who's going to remember MagnaQuench.
Clearly.
Wow.
Wow.
So she sold our American secrets with him. And then,
right in front of us.
Right in front of us, right under your eyes, guys. And by the way, Bush is complicit, too, in this whole scheme of things, since we'll get into that a little bit later. But look at this, Shady. This is basically the communist China is basically the equivalent of a shareholder in the Clinton administration.
Correct.
They made it clear it harbors no secret anti-communist impulses, repackaging the official party line from Beijing. Communist tyranny is necessary to prevent instability. And this is basically the New American, where only Nixon could go to China. You know, this is an article that I found, but we're going to find out that we're going to see a lot of consistencies of this.
Yeah, and we need to also look at the overview of how everything was played in the media. Now, right now we've watched the president show us how the fake news operates, right? We all see how the game works. And now you go back and you look at the way that they were playing up Nixon going into China. Everything was being set up. This is the lead in to what you're completely seeing now. This is the lead in to things like Walmart, the lead in to things like Dollar General, and all these China direct things that we have right now in our world that are open. Matrix, by the way, those places are open. And, none of us can open, but you can go to Home Depot and Walmart. You see, guys?
Right. So they're taking away
China direct.
Yeah. So they want you to shop from China, but not here direct. You know what I mean? I mean, it's obvious now. They're trying to kill the American business and get China the leg up. So we're
and the American entrepreneur, I mean, like with all this stealing of intellectual property, it really is about degrading and devaluing the American ingenuitive spirit and the idea that you can own or keep anything.
That's right.
Patents and stuff, right? I mean, they basically copy everything and make it cheap as it can be and pretend like it's just as good.
So China, Let's see. Here's China right here. This is David Rockefeller visits with his friend Li Keqiang, L-I. That's the family bloodline in China, one of Red China's government trade officials. The key player in the Illuminati from the Li family is Hong Kong billionaire Li Keqiang. He's not only a major leader in the occult world and capitalism, he is also a prominent player in the Communist Chinese leadership inner circle. He is a board member of the China International Trust and Investment Corp, CITIC, TIC, which is a principal funding arm of the Red Chinese and is used to acquire technology for Red Chinese Army. A Rand Corp report states that CITIC provides logistical support for the People's Liberation Army. Li Keqiang is also the director of the Red Chinese shipping firm COSCO, which acts as the merchant marine for the Chinese military as well as plays a role in the Red Chinese intelligence. Another Chinese intelligence front, China Resources Co., has also been connected to in business with Li Keqiang. COSCO has been involved in Red Chinese operations directed at the U.S. They are based in the Long Beach, California port, guys. That deep water naval port that was given to Red China.
Yeah, it was given to them until your great POTUS came back and started doing something about it.
And Costco is Costco in the U.S. That's correct.
That is exactly correct, and it is China Direct, everyone. Lots of people aren't aware of this, especially your friends and family, that these stores, they're really not sponsoring goods that are made in America. They really aren't. Things like what the president was saying about Whirlpool, it's impossible to get into the market because they have it locked down from China.
That's right. You know, while Li Keqiang has been identified by the Defense Intelligence Agency as a leader over the Red Chinese government, other Li, President Li Tengui, has been president of Taiwan, and that's L-E-E, another way to pronounce Li, of the bloodline. By the way, Charles Freeman, Assistant U.S. Secretary of Defense, was told by Red General Zhang, Chinese Deputy Chief for Intelligence, that Red China was willing to sacrifice 1 million soldiers in order to capture Taiwan. These people, so I guess what we got to understand is the name. So the Chinese name is made up of a family name. It's a surname, which is written first and sometimes last, okay? And it comes to a person when it comes to the personal name. In Chinese, the way things, my name would be Peterson or Jeff. Yeah, Peterson Jeff, right? Right. You would be Groove Shady. Family names are usually one character each, although there are exceptions like Huang and Situ. There are over 6,000 Chinese surnames for about 1 billion Chinese. The more frequent Chinese surnames in English-speaking countries such are in the UK, US, Austria, and Chan, Lin, Li, Wang, Huang, Mei, Yang, Qin, and Fong in mainland China are the top 5 families are Chen, Li, Zhang, He, and Huang. So these family names are important because it's a very popular name in China. Li is popular, but not as widespread as like a Smith in this country, but it's used more than the name like Brown, right? It's American Chinese who have the surname and much more loyalty to someone else that has this surname. For example, if we both were Lees but not of the same bloodline, we believe in the same things. Now, let's go back to Q's latest post, Shady.
Yes.
What does it say?
Infiltration?
The infiltration one. Yeah, let's go to QAD and let's look at that. So it talks about only those who can be controlled via blackmail or like beliefs were installed in critical leadership positions all across political and non-political control and command positions, CCP. So Lees, they have the same like beliefs, Lees, because they believe the same, they have the same name. There's traitors everywhere, deep leaderships and joint ops with China in effort to regain power. It was never about the virus, guys. Ever. Now, let's continue, because this is important, guys. We've connected so many things. So what if China and Russia and others are coordinating with POTUS to eliminate the New World Order? Let's look at Z versus Li. There's a power grab going on right now. Stay tuned. Watch this.
Meanwhile, China's rulers are a very busy lot. In the middle of a pandemic, they're fighting diplomatic battles and trade wars. They're engaged in military posturing on sea and land. They're changing laws to control Hong Kong and they're carrying out an anti-corruption drive. You've got to give it to them. They can multitask. But why now is the question. To be fair, the anti-corruption drive is not new. It's as old as Xi Jinping's presidency. He has jailed hundreds of top generals and party officials in the past few years in the name of fighting graft. And he's doing it again. Why now? Is the president consolidating power in the name of fighting graft? Before we answer that, let's tell you what happened. Location Xinjiang, the far west of China, the same region where Uyghur Muslims live, in detention camps. Target, a senior cadre in charge of propaganda and education. The name is Ren Hua, the deputy chairperson of the regional government, suspected of serious violations of discipline and law. In other words, charged with corruption. Ren is the 5th senior official to be investigated this year. 5 senior officials charged with corruption in the middle of a virus outbreak. For all the pride that China takes in its governance, this crackdown is counterintuitive. Or is it? In 1986, Ren Hua started off as a clerk in the Communist Party's regional office in Xinjiang. Over the years, she crossed paths with some powerful people. She rose through the ranks. There are others. Li Zi, the city's party chief from 2006 to 2009. In 2016, Li was sentenced to jail for 12 years on bribery charges. Noor Bekri, chairman of the Xinjiang government from 2008 to 2014. In 2019, Noor Bekri was sentenced to life in prison on bribery charges. So you see, in the last few years, Xinjiang's regional corruption watchdog has detained a former deputy mayor, a former deputy director of transport, and a former deputy commissioner. This is a crackdown on former senior officials in Xinjiang. Did they possess information that Beijing wanted to hide? This is an important question because Xinjiang is a politically sensitive region for China.
So essentially, the Li is going after Z, and Z is saying no, slapping him down. So let me just go to the next piece here, okay? Because
again, maybe just a real quick, the overlay here, just think about a very similar situation that we have going on here right now, where they think they have the executive branch controlled, and the executive branch is acting outside of the plan.
All right, and so this, and now maybe Z is going to be good, Shady, because now he has a Trump to help him out of this.
Right, he's been given a bridge, right?
Now look at this. The most recent clash between Z and the bloodline Li. Z and Li are likely to take different courses of action, accelerating the collapse of the communist regime in China. Check it out. And by the way, watch the water when you see the photo.
The recent clash between China's Premier Li Keqiang and Chairman Xi Jinping has attracted much attention. On July 31st at 10:30 a.m., the completion and opening ceremony of the Beidou 3 global satellite navigation system was held at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. The ceremony was attended by top Communist Party officials, including not only Xi Jinping, but also 2 other members of the Standing Committee, Premier Li Keqiang and Vice Premier Han Zheng. Also at the ceremony were other Politburo members, including Vice Premier Liu He and Director of the Central Office Ding Xuexiang. Presiding over the ceremony was Vice Premier Liu He, a close associate of Xi Jinping. The live CCTV footage shows that after the Communist Party's top officials are seated in the front row, starting about 3 minutes into the video, Vice Premier Liu He takes the stage to read out the list of leaders attending the ceremony. And Liu, a direct subordinate of Li Keqiang, accidentally publicly humiliates Li while toting up to Xi Jinping. The footage shows Liu He first reading Xi Jinping, General Secretary of the Communist Party of China, President of the People's Republic of China, and Chairman of the Central Military Commission. After the following applause, Liu left enough time for Xi to get up and salute. Next, Liu introduced the Premier, Li Keqiang. But after the applause, the moment Li got up to salute, Liu immediately read the name of the next standing committee member, Han Zheng, followed by Ding Xuexiang, and not giving Li any face and leaving him visibly embarrassed. In addition, the footage shows Xi Jinping shooting a scornful sideways glance at Li Keqiang afterwards. Since Xi Jinping took office, Li Keqiang has always been a supporting character. especially after the 19th CPC National Congress, when Xi proclaimed himself as the highest authority. But it is still surprising to see Li being so publicly humiliated. One netizen said, after this 803 incident, it can be seen that Li Keqiang still hasn't realized his own position. After Liu He read Xi Jinping's name, Li was still adjusting his suit and thought that he could enjoy the same special treatment. On July 24th, the Free Asia website had published an article by commentator Gao Xin, which used the history of Xi and Li's rise to power to interpret the recently popular power struggle story between the two. The article pointed out that Li Keqiang was supposed to be the successor built up by former chairman Hu Jintao, which means the successor for general secretary and becoming the paramount leader of the communist regime. Therefore, just from the time Li Keqiang and Xi Jinping joined the Central Committee, Xi truly was a latecomer compared to Li. In the fall of 2007, during the 17th CPC National Congress, Xi Jinping and Li Keqiang both jumped directly from being Central Committee members to joining the Politburo Standing Committee. Afterwards, a public article from a website in mainland China said that CCP top officials must have considered Xi and Li's academic qualifications and business expertise when evaluating them. Xi Jinping has a PhD in Marxism-Leninism and ideological and political education, and Li Keqiang has a PhD in economics. Therefore, Xi was placed as the successor to the General Secretary, and Li was placed as the successor to the Premier. Out of the 7 current members of the Standing Committee, only Li Keqiang graduated from a formal university. As for the other 6, Xi Jinping, along with Wang Huning and Zhao Leji, were all worker, peasant, soldier students. These were students during the later parts of the Cultural Revolution, between 1970 and 1976, who enrolled in colleges and universities based on their class background rather than their academic qualifications. They would study for 2 to 3 years, and half of their time were spent on studying agriculture, industry, the army, and Mao's works, plus at least 1 year of remedial cultural courses which taught basic cultural lessons. The other 3 members, Li Zhanshu, Wang Yang, and Han Zheng, never attended a formal college or university. Recently, there's been talk within the upper levels of the CCP that Li Keqiang is using this opportunity to resist Xi Jinping, which has also been the focus of attention in foreign media. For example, on May 28th, the closing day of the National People's Congress meeting in a month. At the time, the outside world saw this as a direct attack on Xi's proclamation of solving poverty and highlighted the reality of poverty in China. In addition, Li Keqiang's street stall economy, which was promoted and publicized by the central and local government media, was shut down within a few days. Some reports suggested that this was because Li's approach was a disgrace to Xi Jinping, who was determined to achieve success in the closing year of the 13th five-year plan. On July 6, Li Keqiang saw many unused factories during a visit to Tongren in Guizhou province and called for more migrant workers. Some media interpreted that Li exposed the truth again, confirming that China's economic recovery from the epidemic was not satisfactory, which in turn contradicts Xi Jinping's claim that he wants to achieve a well-off society this year. Li's visit, however, was rarely reported in the official Chinese media. At the executive meeting of the State Council on July 15th, Li mentioned in his speech that China is still a developing country and should do everything to the best of its abilities. This was seen as an indirect reference to Xi Jinping, as Xi has been irresponsibly throwing money around the world since coming to power. Therefore, many believe that the conflict...
So do you see what's happening here, guys? I'm not saying that Li or Xi Jinping
in an interview with an overseas media outlet that Xi and Li were once seen by many as political allies.
Bloodline.
But that only made sense when they needed to come together in the face of their common enemy, the faction of former CCP leader Jiang Zemin. Now that Xi has taken over the reins of power, and Li's preference for a market-oriented economy doesn't match Xi's, their political disagreement has started evolving into a power struggle. Xi created a bunch of groups which later became committees to overshadow Li, but then Li continued to expose the CCP's economic past despite Xi, and a split or even breakup between the two has become inevitable.
大家要关起门来搞发展，那是行不通的。开放啊，对人来说，
right there, guys.
空气呀，缺一不可离，否则就窒息了。
Wow, huh? What do you think of that, Shady?
Man, I think that it's pretty evident that there is a lot going on there that you don't hear about because your media is not interested in giving you any inside information of what's happening through the power structure in China.
That's right.
They don't really care for you to know anything about that. And this is all actually, this is current. This is happening now.
And China News Network, I mean, CNN won't tell you anything about it.
China News.
And, you know, when he talks about the middlemen and the invisible rulers, let's listen to this, Shady.
Who the hell they are, what they do. They make more money than the...
Okay. Are we live again? Let me just see. When he talks about the... No. They don't like this show, do they?
Are we back? Give us a 5-5.
No. Are we back? I think we're back.
I think we are too.
All right, here they don't like this show, do they? There I am.
Are we back? Give us a 5-5.
Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see. Here we go. Let's watch this again.
They are so wealthy. They are so wealthy. Nobody has any idea who the hell they are, what they do. They make more money than the drug companies. You know, in all fairness, at least the drug companies have to produce a product, and it has to be a good product. But the middlemen, well, the rebate that I'm doing cuts out the middlemen and it reduces costs, and the money goes back to the people purchasing.
Hey, are you there?
I'm just trying to see if we're connected again. It just screwed up again.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It looked like it just bounced off again.
Yep. I'm trying to find the middleman thing, but I can just go into. I don't know. It didn't go into my thread here. 1 second, guys. Let me go over here. To here. What is interesting is the middleman that our POTUS is talking about is from old Webster book. Look at this, guys. This is middlemen. So China used to be called Middle Kingdom. Shady.
Middle ground.
Middlemen. Middle Kingdom. Middlemen. Right there. Boom. So when our POTUS talking about the middlemen, now you understand who they are.
About?
He was talking about China because he was right there at Whirlpool draining the swamp. Was her right there? Was her? And let's continue on.
Have to produce a product, and it has to be a good product. But the middlemen. Well, the rebate that I'm doing cuts out the middlemen and it reduces costs.
Cuts out
and
China, folks.
Money goes back to the people purchasing the drugs. So I have a lot of enemies out there. This may be the last time you'll see me for a while.
The triads.
A lot of very, very
CIA.
rich enemies, but they are not happy with what I'm doing.
Nope.
But I figure we have one chance to do it, and no other president's going to do what I do. No other president would do a favored nations, a rebate, a buy from other nations at much less cost. Nobody. And there are a lot of unhappy people, and they're very rich people, and they're very unhappy. They are so wealthy.
Middlemen, Shady.
Middlemen.
Now, remember the TVA that Trump fired the board of directors to? Guess what? TVA executive traded nuclear information for cash in
China.
Not Russia.
Nope.
China espionage case, folks. In April of 16.
This whole thing that happened with the TVA in itself is massive, guys. You have to understand there are a couple little side correlations to this. You know, the TVA coming out of Oak Ridge is where they developed the atomic bomb that was set off in Nagasaki and Hiroshima for World War II. And we just had the event in Beirut, which was the day before the 75th anniversary of that event. Yeah. And then he just stepped in and took out the top executive, what was he saying? The top executive at TVA was getting like $8 million a year.
Yeah, and it was it was the board members, right? So
wonder why he's getting such a nice, healthy salary. Do you think
because
it's
they're selling Chinese seats? They're selling out America to China, folks.
And no one in America seems to be, talk about it or be concerned of it.
Right. Nope.
No media is interested in this. Even alternative media, like nobody's really interested in understanding what they're doing.
The Q people, Shady, I'm not seeing anybody talk about this stuff yet. Now, hopefully they will, but it seems like we're the only ones talking about this, Shady.
We're the only ones that have produced this much content regarding communism in general. So we are the only ones talking about it.
That's right. And everybody else is worried about this LARP, that LARP, here LARP, there LARP, everywhere LARP, LARP. Okay.
Q told us that we're going to be LARPers everywhere, and everybody's surprised whenever there's LARPers everywhere.
I am Q. No, you are not. I'm Q. No, I'm Q. Hey, I'm Q. You're a Q. What is Q? Who is Q? You're in a cult. Ha, ha, ha. All right. So the cult is a free-thinking movement, Shady. Beijing is employing a whole-of-government approach using political, economic, and military tools as well as propaganda to advance its influence and benefit its interests in the United States, folks.
And this is linked to the Hudson Institute speech given by your president, Mike Pence. And this was actually a couple of years ago. I think we're close to
October 4th, 2018.
Yeah, 2-year delta on this, and Q dropped this exact video for us to watch in the summer of 2018, where he goes extensively into the threat of China through social media, through infiltration in the military, and even talks about military degradation and insertion of microchips inside our military manufacturing.
And Z is a friend to the United States because he wants to trade and be his own country, and we want to be our own country is what I'm finding out here, Shady. That's why Z was at Mar-a-Lago. We still think Z is the head of all this crap, but it's the Li family behind them, under them, that are doing this. China is applying all this power. But here it is. Look at that. They're using all their tools, guys. It's a national security strategy that Trump has released in December. It's a new era of great power competition. Foreign nations have begun to reassert their influence regionally and globally, and they are contesting America's geopolitical advantages and trying to change the international order in their favor, folks. This is actually worth a really good 43 minutes of your time to watch this whole thing. We're not going to watch this whole thing, but we have seen in the 17 years, China's GDP has grown 9-fold. Why is that, Shady? Why 9-fold? Why? And who gave it to them? How did it happen? These are the questions that we need to ask, folks.
It wouldn't have happened without them. It wouldn't have happened without them being given the information to allow them to grow. You know that all the people in the media that bounce around and cackle about the Paris Accord and us getting out of the Paris Accord, but what no one acknowledges is the Paris Accord gave China complete open source ability to develop and move with impunity and no restrictions or levies or taxes on their carbon, but was levying and taxing all other nations' carbon in the world. It was literally a Chinese operation to insulate them against being able to pollute as much as they would like to, guys.
Right. And Trump says we rebuilt China over the past 25 years. He knows this. We know. Shady, go. I didn't. Made in China 2025 plan. That's what they have, Shady.
Yes.
All right, so let's keep going because this is mind-blowing. Obviously, we've lost our stream a couple of times. Let's listen to this guy right here.
The ultimate ambition of China's rulers isn't to trade with the United States. It is to raid the United States. If you are an American business leader, appeasing the PRC may bring short-term rewards. But in the end, the PRC's goal is to replace you. As a U.S. Chamber of Commerce report put it, the belief by foreign companies that large financial investments and sharing of expertise and significant technology transfers would lead to an ever-opening China market is being replaced by boardroom banter that win-win in China means China wins twice. Although Americans hope that trade and investment would liberalize China's political system, The fundamental character of the regime has never changed. As its ruthless crackdown of Hong Kong demonstrates once again, China is no closer to democracy today than it was in 1989 when tanks confronted pro-democracy protesters in Tiananmen Square. It remains an authoritarian, one-party state in which the Chinese Communist Party wields absolute power, unchecked by popular elections, the rule of law, or an independent judiciary. The CCP surveils its own people and assigns them social credit scores, employs an army of government censors, tortures dissidents, and persecutes religious and ethnic minorities, including 1 million Uyghurs detained in indoctrination and labor camps. If what happened in China stayed in China, that would be bad enough. But instead of America's changing China, China is leveraging its economic power to change America. As this administration's China strategy recognizes, the CCP's campaign to compel ideological conformity does not stop at China's borders. Rather, the CCP seeks to extend its influence around the world, including on Americans.
Including us, guys. Including us.
Especially us.
Right. So they're at our doorstep, folks. They weren't really infiltration. Queued Up brought up, and thanks for Queued Up for that video. I know the sound did have a little less in the right than the left, but hey, when you're trying to find videos that are over the target, it's really hard, okay? So this is the Dem leadership are in joint ops with CCP in effort to regain. That's a Q post, by the way. I just took out the D in kill box and put Dem.
Right.
All right. So these are posts from QAnon. Now look at this, Shady, and this was excellent, by the way. This is the United States and China competition. Basically, here's the invite. This is the China governors, U.S.-China governors collaboration summit. It's an exclusive deal-making opportunity. Come on, governors. Come check it out. Here's our presentations.
We're offering a bridge to you.
Yeah. Mark Bevan, Kentucky, you're out. Bill Lee. Oh, Lee family, you're out. Huh? Lieutenant Governor, State of Washington, Cyrus, bye-bye now. You guys see what's happening here. Oh, what about Colorado? Bye, Diana Primavera. Hanging out with Chongqing. Right, guys? What about Charlie Gilhurst from Michigan? Kind of looks like all these same states that are having issues. Hey?
Yeah, you mean like all the states that are having the inner cities burned down and destruction of the normal activities there, not to mention an insurrection of people in the streets every day, intimidating and trying to silence us, and then making mandates that you wear masks and shut up.
So when you see lieutenant governors often have a lot more power, or a lot of power in the states. Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera, if you're in Colorado, you might want to tell her to get China the hell out of my state. How about Michigan?
You might want to start standing up and being a little bit louder about what is really going on, because it seems like your media, they're missing it, Matrix. They're not seeing it.
Your governors, Tennessee, Bill Lee, Matt Bevin, he gave a keynote speech. Cyrus Habib, right there, State of Washington, Lieutenant Governor, all doing deals with China. Now, let's kind of take a look at some of this, Shady. Let's see. Here we go. We're not going to play the whole thing, but it's very, very good. Here we go.
Turnover in my gig. I've gotten to know some of you as I've traveled throughout the states. I've probably traveled inside the country more than many secretaries of state. It's something they usually don't do as much. I think it's important that the American people understand what our diplomats are doing around the world and why we're doing it. So I just wanted to mention that if you see me in your state, I'm not lost. I know your state has not seceded from the Union. I know where I am. Although I know there's some folks in California who are clamoring for Cal exit. So President Newsom, I look forward to working with Secretary of State Feinstein when that comes to be. I can get away with California jokes. I grew up in Southern California. My dad still lives in the same house I grew up in Orange County. It's a wonderful place. Last year, Last year, I received an invitation to an event that promised to be, quote, an occasion for exclusive deal-making. It said, quote, the opportunities for mutually beneficial economic development between China and our individual states are tremendous, end of quote. Deal-making sounds like it might have come from President Trump, but the invitation was actually from a former governor. I was being invited to the U.S.-China Governors Collaboration Summit. It was an event co-hosted by the National Governors Association and something called the Chinese People's Association for Friendship and Foreign Countries. Sounds pretty harmless. What the invitation did not say is that the group I just mentioned, is the public face of the Chinese Communist Party's official foreign influence agency, the United Front Work Department. Now, I was lucky. I was familiar with that organization from my time as the director of the Central Intelligence Agency, but it got me thinking, how many of you made the link between that group and Chinese Communist Party officials? What if you made a new friend while you were at that event? What if your new friend asked you for introductions to other politically connected and powerful people? What if your new friend offered to invest big money in your state, perhaps in your pension, in industries sensitive to our national security? These aren't hypotheticals. These scenarios are all too true, and they impact American foreign policy significantly. Indeed, last year, a Chinese government-backed think tank in Beijing produced a report that assessed all 50 of America's governors on their attitudes towards China. They labeled each of you friendly, hardline, or ambiguous. I'll let you decide where you think you belong. Someone in China already has. Many of you, indeed, in that report are referenced by name. So here's the lesson. The lesson is that competition with China is not just a federal issue. It's why I wanted to be here today, Governor Hogan. It's happening in your states with consequences for our foreign policy, for the citizens that reside in your states, and indeed for each of you. And in fact, whether you're viewed by the CCP as friendly or hardline, know that it's working you. Know that it's working the team around you. Competition with China is happening inside of your state, and it affects our capacity to perform America's vital national security functions. I want to set the context today for this topic. At the end of the Cold War, America started to engage with China heavily. It made good sense. We thought that the more we interacted, the more it would become like a liberal democracy, like us here in the United States. It didn't happen. And you all know this. Indeed, under Xi Jinping, the country is moving exactly in the opposite direction. More repression, more unfair competition, more predatory economic practices, indeed a more aggressive military posture as well. Now, you should know, this doesn't mean we can't do business with China. I had an operation when I ran Century International. We had a small office in Shanghai. We can find places to cooperate when our interests converge. You can see that in the first part of the trade deal that President Trump got done, signed last month. We're happy about that. It was the right thing to do. That was indeed a deal that was good for both the United States and China. And these economic ties are powerful. They're important and good. They're good for your state. They're good for America. Look at the nearly 18 tons of medical supplies the United States just flew to China this past.
Right, so there you have it, guys. I mean, infiltrating or attracting and wooing or catcalling our governors, guys.
Yeah, and he goes on to say in that interview there, he calls them all straight out and tells them, if you've made deals or if you've done different things, I would advise you against following through with those things.
Yeah.
I mean, he's and we know that all of these governors have been working through the universities. You know, the universities are funneling this stuff into your politicians.
Yep, and we're going to get a lot into that too, guys. I mean, everything that Q has talked about, you know, look here, not there. We're looking here now. We're looking at China right now, and you better do it too. You know, knowing what you know now, you know, a vote for a Democrat Party is a vote for China. Let's just watch this real quick. Gotta have a little fun before we get deeper.
town where I was born, we're supposed to have free speech, but we sold our rights away to the land of censorship. So we held our overlords till we drown in a sea of green, and we live beneath the boot under Chinese censorship. We all live under Chinese censorship, and we're all in debt. There's no more to bet. We all live under Chinese censorship. Let's roll out the tanks, the Uyghurs and camps. The Uyghurs are unborn to be taught to love China more. And Xi Jinping starts to say,
You don't happen to have any honey, do you?
We all live under Chinese censorship. They say Qing Jin Chong and no press Hong Kong. We all live under Chinese censorship, and we are the ones who sell your organs as we live a life of lease. Our countries on earth have become Greece. Sky afire over Taiwan for a worldwide Chinatown. We all live under Chinese censorship. Tiananmen protest, let to no arrest.
So there you go. That's a little song to break it up from the madness a little bit. You know, Shady, I have a question. Do Chinese like losing? Do Chinese
No, they don't.
want POTUS removed and replaced?
Yep.
Do the Chinese want Biden installed as president?
Yep.
Huh. President knows, and Q has been telling us for a while now, Shady. And we're just now digging. I mean, Bill Clinton gave the Chinese missile technology. Feinstein, China's growing into a respectable nation. I mean, folks.
Well, she now just to make sure people understand that, she said that like last week.
Yeah. And by the way, we have her with Bo, Zipang or whatever his name is, who married a Li. And he was the mayor of Chongqing, and we have Dianne Feinstein Q post of her going into Chongqing with a car, and she probably knows all about Bo's organ harvesting in China, folks.
Absolutely, she knows about all of that.
Okay, so on May 23rd, this is the red carpet event, folks. The Bill Clinton, he signed an executive order 12-850, right? At a time when the U.S.-China trade deficit was only $18 billion a year. In 2015, the trade deficit was $367 billion. And this is our, president giving away, selling our country and our secrets to China.
And how many times has President Trump talked about this deficit, this trade deficit that's between now 600 to 800 million or billion or whatever it is a year? Like, they have literally been on the surface in public stealing from you with no one seeming to think it's a big deal.
That's right. For some reason,
all of this is theft, everyone. This is all theft. You wonder why they completely own Hollywood? You wonder why your music is completely screwed up? You wonder what's going on in your sports teams right now with Black Lives Matter? Take a look at your Democrat nominee campaign fundraising, whereas they didn't even have 30 million on hand at the beginning of, what was like 40 million they had when George Floyd was killed, and now they've raised 300 million, like 250 million in the last 2 months. Every penny that has been donated to Black Lives Matter has went straight to Act Blue and gets counted as a Democrat campaign donation.
That's right. And it turns out there was a Chinese Communist spy in Feinstein's office, and that's not a big deal, huh, Shady?
No, that's not a big deal. And the driver for 20 years was a Chinese spy, but there, what was there, like not even one day of news stories on that. This lady right here, along with Pelosi and Biden and a few of these others, Chuck Schumer, have decrepitly been in government for 30, 40, 50 years. Jerry Nadler, all these people that have been fighting your president that have been so loud seem like they got a little red on them.
Turns out that, they're talking about collusion with Russia, but they're colluding with China. Oh my God, guys. I mean, they're projecting everything they're doing with China on the president. And this is the consulate in San Francisco. This is where Feinstein helped set up when she was the mayor. She attended the consulate functions for the senator. Feinstein said that she took the staffer off her payroll immediately after the informed her 5 years ago that she had been infiltrated by Chinese intelligence, right? In June 96, the staffer had begun working for Feinstein. FBI detected that the Chinese government was attempting to seek favor with the senator, who at the time sat on an Eastern Asian and Pacific Affairs subcommittee of the Foreign Relations Committee. Wow, which oversees U.S.-China relations. Investigators warned her in a classified briefing that Beijing may try to influence her through illegal campaign contributions, laundered through front corporations, and other cutouts, guys.
And may I draw your attention, please, to going back to the Q post from 2018, giving us a clue as to, remember Q told you to pay attention to which swamp creatures don't continue to seek office. And there was like, I don't know, close to 40 of them that didn't.
Yeah.
Why did they not? Because they decided that that China wasn't the proper way to move forward.
Yeah. Now I've got the digs on this. Why did China shame BO? I understand all this now. It all makes sense, and I can show you that later, but on another show, because this is so much.
This is China Week.
It's so much. It's Shark Week.
It's Shark Week, but it's China Week. Wait, we got something. Hang on.
Do you understand why we call it Shark Week, Shady? Yeah, and you're going to say it. Go ahead, because I want you to say it because it's true.
China is asshole.
Welcome to Shark Week with Mike Tyson. Oh, wait.
Mao.
What does he got right there, Shady?
That looks like Mao.
Wow. Mao. Here.
Back. But if I do, I'm going to fight with the spirit of Mao.
He's going to fight with the spirit of Mao on Shark Week, guys. You see how they do it? You see how they program stuff into your psyche? Let's hear that again.
Let you know that the possibility I might come back. But if I do, I'm going to fight with the spirit of Mao.
Wow.
Spirit of Mao.
Wow.
Yeah. Who do they idolize, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see it in the chat. Who do they idolize? Who is the enemy here?
Who is the enemy? Do we know? Do we know now?
I think maybe we're trying to make it more clear. It might be the Russians, but I don't think so.
Whoops. Is it the Russians? Oh, my thread just totally... Look at that. What happened here?
It skipped out. They keep moving. Twitter moves the threads on you now, because they don't want you seeing specific things.
Live in real time, guys.
But man, we have got a lot of stuff to present to you. This is really just a little snippet of what's going on behind the scenes, guys, and the uncovering of all of this stuff leading back to the bloodlines. It's epic. It's exactly what Q has been pointing us at. This is the exact string of information that we need to be exposing to people that it is not Russia. Let's remember a little statistic that Russia is like 13% of the economy of France, guys. This is not a force to be reckoned with. We have to look where the trouble is. and also pay attention to all these sites that are being systematically destroyed around the planet over the last week. And I think that we're seeing August is a pretty hot month, Matrix.
As of April of 2020, Shady, Hunter Biden is still listed as a board member of a Chinese company. He pledged to resign in October.
He decided to stay on.
Decided to stay on, folks. America first or China first, folks? Here we go.
America first or China first?
The rising China is a positive development.
China wins.
We're not trying to slow down Chinese growth.
China wins.
This is no time for Donald Trump's record of hysteria, xenophobia.
China again.
Banning all travel will not stop it.
For Joe Biden, China always wins.
What a beautiful history we wrote together.
America First Action is responsible for the content of this advertising. America First.
China, guys.
China.
That's really what it boils down to. Do you want America or China?
China's not trying to eat our lunch, man.
And most,
Come on.
And most people that are all triggered because of the mind control about Orange Man bad would probably agree with you.
I think you're right about that.
Nancy spills the beans, Shady.
But the Chinese, what they said is China would prefer Joe Biden. Whether they do, that's
yep.
But the Chinese,
she spilled the beans.
She almost swallowed her teeth.
And this is when your shadow presidency was set up. Obama-Biden Oval Office meeting on January 5th was the key to the entire anti-Trump crap, guys. This is when it happened. This is when it happened. And why? Because he is going to stop China, folks.
And this is the reason that they've come so hard after General Flynn, because General Flynn was one of the very few people in your military who were standing up and speaking out against this takeover. They were all these other people that are in our military to some degree. I mean, say what you will, but they were sitting back and watching this stuff happen. General Flynn and Admiral Rogers took action, Matrix. I think that's a big thing to show everyone out there, how there's a difference between seeing something happen and taking action against it, which is what we're seeing right now. As a matter of fact, we his next appeal hearing is tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, General Flynn, 8/11. Let's stay on track too, because this is very important. John Kerry is a Heinz bloodline. He's here with a Li bloodline, Shady. Check it out.
Now, earlier, Secretary Kerry had separate meetings with President Xi Jinping and Premier Li Keqiang.
Li Keqiang,
and his
guys.
Chinese counterpart, Wang Yi, as she just pointed out. He discussed ways to help improve relations between the two countries, including talks on what's being called a new relationship model. CCTV's Wu Gushu has more.
Speaking on the last day of China's traditional Lunar New Year holiday, President Xi Jinping told U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry that China is committed to building a new model of big power relations with the U.S. In hopes of building on the momentum made last year, President Xi Jinping said China and the U.S. should also strengthen dialogue, coordination, and cooperation in major international and regional issues. For his part, Secretary Kerry described the meeting as constructive and positive.
I'm glad we had an opportunity to dig into the detail of some of the North Korea challenges, and also I appreciate his willingness to move forward on the climate change.
In his meeting with Kerry, Chinese Premier Li Keqiang called for more bilateral cooperation on energy. The premier wants the U.S. to increase direct export of liquid gas, and he wants China to be more involved in joint exploration for shale gas. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi also held talks with Kerry. He said the two countries should build their new type of relationship in a practical way, characterized by no conflicts, no confrontation, mutual respect, and win-win cooperation.
We need to unleash the positive energy of the relationship and promote it towards continuous progress on the right track.
Apart from bilateral relations, Kerry said he would also cover issues like the Korean Peninsula, Syria, Afghanistan, and Iran. Some analysts say that...
Pretty interesting, huh, guys? Kind of gives a whole new meaning to rig for red, doesn't it, guys?
Sure does.
We thought rig for red means, hey, we're going to get this thing for the Republicans. No, rig for red literally means rig the election for red.
China.
Rig for silent. This is the hidden hand. China is the invisible enemy, folks.
And we're really just getting started on all of this, guys. We've got a lot to cover for this week.
It's insane. They don't want to hide their crimes, guys. They thought they were going to win. They didn't ever think she was going to lose.
Trump will not be president.
Highly critical, biased text messages between senior FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page.
There will be no question about the outcome of this election.
And she got ahead of herself. This utterly stunned this campaign.
Head home. You should get some sleep. We'll have more to say tomorrow.
Our constitutional democracy enshrines the peaceful transfer of power.
The peaceful transition of power is one of the hallmarks of our democracy. We want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, then the country succeeds.
These declassified documents that were just released.
Officials in the Obama administration were asking for the identities to be unmasked of Americans.
Unmasking of aides and staffers of the incoming president.
The basic charge, political spying.
To disrupt the peaceful transfer of power.
Unmasking of American citizens. It could be a real problem.
Why is it that the unmasking of Flynn somehow ended up in the pages of the Washington Post?
I know nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn.
The vice president said that yesterday, and then the last name on this list is Joe Biden.
The Obama administration was bitter. They wanted to do everything they could to undermine the incoming Trump administration.
Really designed to sabotage and really upend the new administration.
An outgoing president and a vice president and a Washington Post columnist and the FBI setting up an incoming administration. Wow, that's a real conspiracy, and nobody wants to talk about it.
To protect their illegal dealings in China, folks, and elsewhere, of course. Rig for red. TikTok has a new meaning too now, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Huh. Guys, we are over the target here in a big way. And now,
I would encourage people to dig further into this that we've been going over. This is compelling evidence. It's showing you what was really going on. Now you know the media was completely complacent. You understand that there was no watchdog. There was never a watchdog. Not in 100 years has there been a watchdog in the media. Or you.
Yep.
The people.
We've got a future senator in here, Jo Ray Perkins. Hello, Jo Ray. She knows all about the China manipulation. And guess what? She's America first, guys. God bless you.
She is America first. Hey, Jo Ray, it was great talking with you the other day. We're trying to plan a little event up there in the middle of September for her to maybe get together. So great to see you out here, Jo Ray.
Yes. By the way, so this Li Keqiang guy from Hong Kong has offices here in 60 Broad Street. That's right by 55 Broad. Yeah, that's right by all that whole area, guys. Water Street, Wall Street. That building is 100 million. Star TV. This is huge, guys. This is Star TV. This is satellite broadcasting to 38 countries, Asia, Middle East. Star's capitalization is 300 million. Husky Oil, and these are old figures, guys. There are a lot more now. Husky Oil, he got Calgary, Canada, because there's Lee family in Canada helping him as well. So he's got the Toronto Bank, folks. Unbelievable.
Yeah, this is all going to lead to Uranium One as well.
Uranium One. He's got, what has he got? He's got AT&T partnerships. I mean, he's got everything, folks. He's got, he gave Britney Spears to Hong Kong, guys. I mean, these guys are huge. And he's got the Hugh Bank of East Asia, BEA, run by Li Keqiang. BEA has gone into partnerships with such connected companies as G. Warburg. Li Keqiang, also known as David Li, serves in the Hong Kong legislature as a chancellor who represents the banking community. He's also a vice chairman and committee drawing up the future of Chinese administrative region in Hong Kong will soon become what they want to become, right? So these guys hold British passports. They're multiple citizens. They work for the extended Li family, with most of its members holding British passports, is one of the territory's richest and influential old families. Li has been urging Hong Kong people to trust Communist China government. David Li did not comment on the Tiananmen Square massacre when asked. David Li holds a full British passport and can go anywhere he wants. Most people in Hong Kong have only a Hong Kong passport that gives them British citizenship, but does not entitle them to travel. So David Li's uncle, Simon Li, who was a justice of appeal in Hong Kong and selected for the BLDC, Ronald Li was a former chairman of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. I mean, you heard our president talk about the stock exchange as well, folks. A Li owns it, folks. Do you understand how big this company and this family is, Shady?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is pretty much one of the, this is one of the triangles, one of the sides of the pyramid.
Here it is. Li Keqiang is a chairman and chief executive for his 4 big companies in Hong Kong. He hires both Chinese and Western executives for day-to-day management. Simon Murray, a Briton who served on the French Foreign Legion, was one of Li's trusted managers. Li has built global alliances with British companies and has part of Pearson, a British holding company, which in turn has interest in Lazard banking firms, or Lazard, in New York, London, and Paris. And as one can see, Li Keqiang is doing business with the big old boys of international banking. Li also has joint ventures with MTV, AT&T, Motorola, Time Warner. Li's Star TV broadcasts 5 channels to viewers all the way from Israel to Indonesia. The programming comes from the BBC News and MTV with some minor partners. Li is giving Madonna and the rest of Hollywood to the Asians. Li also invested in Vancouver, BC. He also bought the Expo site, which is 1/6 of downtown Vancouver. 27% of Vancouver the guy owns, guys. Vancouver is a triad stronghold. More on that later. Li Keqiang has been owned by the elite to buy, or been allowed by the elite to buy into Canada's Husky Oil, whose skyscraper dominates Calgary's downtown. He could not have done this without his buddies, Shady, Rockefeller, and Rothschild.
That's right. And you can see very clearly that, quote unquote, Trudeau is a puppet of China.
Now let's get into genetics, Shady. We're talking about Bill Gates. We're worried about Bill Gates, but guess what technology Bill Gates is selling? Well, the Illuminati, the Li family in genetics, the Li family has also provided some of the greatest scientists to the field of genetic research. Genetic research has been avid interest to the satanic hierarchy. Cho Hao Li is a world-famous biochemist and endocrinologist. Another Li family is known to be doing robotics research at the University of Southern California. And there is Li Keqiang with his son Victor on the left and Richard standing on the right. Now, the first doctor that died in China was a Li. The lady that came over from Beijing with the China virus was a Li. Are you starting to see, folks? The truth.
I think it's becoming clear, guys.
Truth has always been there. They don't.
And this is just the beginning of what we have to share with you.
So let's see where we're at right now. It's 2:13. Let's just go out with this. It's always been China. Keck Productions is down there. Say hi to Keck.
Please consider supporting the channel here, guys. We have a brand new website that's up. If you've not been over there, we have Webmaster Q that's been doing an amazing job. All of the great moderators out here, guys. This is getting ready to be a heck of a quick run down to November 3rd. Who knows what's about to happen after? But we have got a whole country of people to wake up, and they're going to start asking you questions, and we have to be able to point out China, Matrix.
That's right. And we haven't received one donation yet today. We would love to see a couple donations. We're working hard. I was digging all weekend. I mean, my gosh, guys, I can barely sleep. So go to inthematrix.live/tip if you want to tip. Or we got the PayPal, the Patreon. Maybe I'm mistaken because I haven't seen any Patreons come, or PayPal or Patreons. But, dude, we need your support. Dude and dudettes, if you will. Americans. Because we are competing with China-owned media. Shady.
Yes, sir, we are, and I appreciate everybody coming here. And the China Week will continue tomorrow. We have a lot on this, like I said. So digest, go back, rewatch this again, and get prepared because tomorrow's show will be building off of today's.
Wait till you find out what we found out, guys. We'll be here tomorrow, 1300 hours.
Much love, everybody.
www.mg.show. Boom.